All right, good morning, grade 11G. Today's lesson is going to be about vitamins and minerals. So this is going to be a continuation from, where we would have stopped in last class yesterday. Okay, so, as we discussed inside class, generally our body needs vitamins and minerals to help it to function properly. Okay, so you'll find that different parts of our bodies might need, certain vitamins or minerals to function. For example, with our eyes, in order for our eyes to be healthy, we know that we need vitamin A. Okay, in order to keep our immune system strong, we know that we need, vitamin C. Okay, so those are a few examples. For minerals, you know that we need iodine for our thyroid gland. So that helps our thyroid gland to make thyroxine, which is a hormone. Okay, so all these different parts of our bodies, they are going to need certain vitamins and minerals in order to function properly. Okay, so in addition to that, we also have two types of vitamins. We have water soluble vitamins. Soluble means that it has the ability to dissolve, okay, inside a certain substance. So if something is water soluble, then that means this vitamin can, be absorbed by water. Okay, and we also have fat soluble vitamins. It's the same, the same case. Fat soluble, that means that these vitamins can be dissolved inside fat. Now, the reason why that bit of information is important is because you will find that, with water soluble vitamins, you need these more frequently. Okay, the reason being is because our body has no way of storing water soluble vitamins because our body, it doesn't store water. Okay, there's a lot of different ways that our body can get rid of water. So this is why we need to constantly drink water or a certain amount of water every single day, because every single day water is being removed from our body, whether from sweating or whether from urinating. Okay, now with the fat soluble vitamins, because our body has the ability to store fat, it will also have the ability to store some of these vitamins. Okay, so fat is a little bit different from water. All of us has a natural, well, all of us, you can naturally find some level of fat inside of our bodies. Okay, and it's stored there. All right, so with the fat soluble vitamins, you have vitamin A, D, E, and K. Okay, so like I said, these vitamins here are going to be stored inside our body fat as well as inside of our liver. Okay, all right, the first vitamin we're going to talk about is called vitamin A. Okay, so vitamin A promotes good vision and it also promotes healthy skin and hair. Okay. Now, if we don't have enough vitamin A, we can get a disease called night blindness. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this picture clearly, but on this picture on this side here, if you have healthy eyes, this is what you should be able to see at night. However, if you have too little vitamin A or you have a vitamin A deficiency, then this is how a person who has night blindness sees. Okay, so as you can see in this picture here, it is very, very dark, okay, compared to this one over here. All right, so here are some food sources that are rich in vitamin A. Okay, you have the liver, you have the eggs, you have milk, butter, and cheese. Now, remember earlier we said that fat soluble vitamins are stored inside fats and the liver. Okay, so this is why the liver of other animals, such as cow, for example, have a lot of different of these vitamins inside of it. Okay, because that's where some of those fat soluble vitamins are going to be stored. So liver is going to be a good source of vitamin A. Now you also have a lot of fruits and vegetables that you can get vitamin A from. Okay, the general rule of thumb is that if the fruit or vegetable has an orange or a yellow color, then that means it's going to be a good source of vitamin A. Okay, so What gives these, fruits like a vegetable, sorry, what gives these vegetables like a carrot, this orange color, is something called a carotenoid. Okay, so that is a orange pigment. Okay, so remember in class I told you guys that nutrients were, you know, helpful chemicals that we find inside our food that our body needs. Okay, so a carotenoid is still a chemical, and like I said, it's an orange pigment. So you will find this in any fruit or vegetable that has an orange color. Okay, so to name a few, you have carrots, you have cantaloupes, you have sweet potato, uh, the I guess the American sweet potatoes, they have a little, they have an orange color. They have a dark orange color. Okay, so that's the name of few. You also have mangoes. That's another good source of vitamin A because, mangoes, it has a yellow, it has a yellowish color and sometimes an orange color. All right. You also have some green vegetables that will also have vitamin A, such as broccoli. Okay, so going back to what I was saying with the carotenoids, any orange food or yellow food, it's automatically going to have this, substance inside of it. And this is a good indicator that, vitamin A is inside these foods. Okay. Now, with vitamin D, this vitamin is important for building and maintaining strong bones and teeth. Okay. You will also find that vitamin D helps the body to absorb calcium. Okay, so the more vitamin D a person has, or I should say, if a person has a regular amount of vitamin D inside their body, that's also going to help their body to absorb calcium. Because remember, calcium is one of those minerals that makes the bone stronger. So they almost have similar functions. Okay. Now, the reason why vitamin D is also called the sunshine vitamin is because our body has the ability to make vitamin D naturally. Okay. In order for this to happen, we need a certain amount of sunlight every single day, and our body is naturally going to make vitamin D once our skin is exposed to the sunlight. Our skin is going to make vitamin D. All right, so some of the things that can cause a vitamin D deficiency, uh, you find vitamin D in some meat products. Let's see if I can find that. Yeah, so for example, you could get vitamin D from, fish such as tuna, salmon, and fortified milk. Okay, so for people who have a special type of diet, such as, they're vegans or if they're lactose intolerant and they can't drink any milk, they might, suffer from a vitamin D deficiency. So that's one thing that can cause a person of vitamin D deficiency. Another thing, like I said earlier, is if a person doesn't get enough exposure to sunlight, then that means that their skin won't be able to make the vitamin D. Okay, so limited exposure to sunlight, that's another thing that can cause a vitamin D deficiency. Okay, so with vitamin D deficiency, obviously that's going to affect our bones. That's going to make them a little bit more weaker. Okay, so one of the diseases that this could lead to, and people later on in life, is called osteoporosis. Okay, so that basically weakens the bone and makes the bones brittle. Okay, as you can see in this picture here, you see a lot of hollow spaces inside this bone, all right? Or or I should say you see a lot of pores inside this bone or tiny holes. So all of that is basically going to make this bone a little bit weaker, okay? And it's going to make it easier to break. Now, another disease that vitamin D deficiency cause, and this one you guys should be more familiar with, is called rickets, which is basically, it still affects the bones and makes the bones brittle and not as strong. And because of that, they start to bend, under the weight of the body. Okay, so you'll see that they have bent legs because their bones are too fragile. It's not strong enough to support their weight, so it starts to bend out of shape. Okay, and these are some of the ways that you can get vitamin D. You can get vitamin D from having sun exposure. So if you're outside for about 10 minutes or more, that should be enough to give your body, some level of vitamin D. And also you can get vitamin D from, eating certain foods such as fish, tuna and salmon are a good example, as well as drinking milk. All right, next we have vitamin E. Vitamin E basically helps to protect our cell membranes. So it's important for our cells, basically to keep the cells of our body functioning properly. Okay, so some examples of this would be red blood cells and cells that you find inside our muscle as well as in our tissues. So vitamin E, you generally need this for our cells to, function properly. Okay, some of the foods that you find vitamin E in, you have vegetable oils, you have whole grain cereals such as rice, oatmeal, different stuff like that. Those are good examples. You have green leafy vegetables, nuts, seeds, peanut butter. Peanut butter, that comes from nuts, so that's why, that's a good source of vitamin E. And also, peanuts have a lot of oil. Well, let me not say oil, but it has a lot of fats inside of it. Okay, and remember we said earlier that vegetable oils, they're going to have vitamin E inside of it. Okay, the last vitamin we're going to talk about is called vitamin K. And with vitamin K, this is important to basically help our body to, form blood clots. Okay, so vitamin K is basically going to help our body to make platelets, or it's going to help the platelets to, function properly. And whenever we get a cut or a scratch or a bruise, in order for that, bleeding to stop, you're going to need clotting to occur. So clotting is basically when uh, our body tries to heal, whatever wound is causing it to bleed. And you need vitamin K for this to occur. Okay. Now, some of the foods that you can find this in, you can find this inside green vegetables such as kale and broccoli. Once again, you can find it inside the liver because remember we said the liver stores fat soluble vitamins. You could also find it in, other green vegetables such as spinach and cabbage. Okay, so basically any green vegetable that you can think of, it's probably going to be a good source of vitamin K. And once again, vitamin K is responsible for helping the blood to clot. Okay, so we need this in order for our wounds to heal properly. So if you were to get a scratch, for example, and that scratch was to start bleeding, in order for that bleeding to stop, your body is going to need vitamin K. That helps with the blood clotting process.